Hey friends, hey dear parents, are you still confused? That is stimming a good or bad behavior in your kids with autism? So be with me. Let's try to understand what is stimming and let's try to remove this confusion that whether stimming is a good or a bad behavior. Let's try to understand what is stimming. Stimming is a self-regulatory repetitive movements, or you can say repetitive sounds which the child uses for self-control. Dear friends, don't think that stimming is only the behavior shown by or demonstrated by kids with autism. Have you noticed that there are some people or kids continuously or repetitively tap or rock whenever they are in any kind of anxious or nervous situation? That is also a repetitive movement. That is also we call as stimming. But the stimming has to be managed if it is not culturally or socially acceptable, or if it is hindering the participation of your child in any kind of activity, social situation, or in classroom participation. So, I think now you are able to understand at least that stimming is a kind of repetitive movements or repetitive sound which your child makes in order to emotionally self-regulate himself. In autism, stimming behaviors could be like moving back and forth, repetition of phrases, words, or repetition of particular rhymes, songs, hand flapping, walking on the tip of the toes, stroking of the tip of the fingers, flickering switches, repetitive opening and closing of the door, repetitive eye cornering, looking at the particular corners of the room or any kind of environment the child is in, moving fingers in front of the eyes, lining up of the toys, snapping fingers, spinning or circling of the object or toys, covering and uncovering the ears continuously or repetitively. Now, what could be the reason of stimming? As I just now told you that stimming is the emotional self-regulatory behavior, and that's good that your child is having the ability to self-regulate in the form of repetitive behaviors. Kids with autism have sensory processing disorder. So based upon their sensory need, the child might react or stim differently. For example, if the child is hyposensitive, then the child, to get the more sensory input from the environment, child could show stimming behavior. If the child is hypersensitive, then to escape or to avoid excessive sensory input from the environment, child can stim differently. Stimming helps your child to reduce any kind of physical pain or discomfort. Stimming helps to handle the different emotional situation or different emotional environment your child is in. Stimming gets triggered in stressful situation, in happy moments, excited moments. Stimming gets triggered whenever your child is in any kind of unfamiliar new situation, whenever there is a change in the plan or routine of your child. If the child gets any kind of injury, then also child shows stimming behavior. Whenever child goes in any crowd places, then also child becomes stressful, uncomfortable. In loud noises also sometimes the child is not comfortable and shows stimming behaviors. Now, how to manage? Stimming should only be managed if it is hindering the participation of your child in daily routine activities, classroom participation, in social interaction. Otherwise, it is a good self-regulatory mechanism of your child. Now let's use certain techniques in order to manage stimming behavior if it is required. The first and the foremost technique which as an occupational therapist I advised my parents is the sensory diet. It is very important in case of sensory processing disorder that we should optimize the sensory system of our kids in order to reduce the stimming behavior. Use of stress balls also help to regulate the stimming behaviors in your child. If it is the verbal stimming or the child is stimming because of sound or excessive loud sound, then you can use sound blocking headphones or soundproof windows. Try to avoid the stressful environment or minimize the environmental stress. For example, if the child shows a stimming behavior in a crowded place or in the classroom, initially we should try to provide the child with less stressful environment with a small classroom with less number of kids. ABA therapy really helps the child to reduce the stimming behaviors by providing the positive reinforcement or providing the consequences for the negative behaviors. Use of vigorous exercises really helps the child in managing the stimming behaviors because the concept of vigorous exercises is that it secretes beta endorphins which are also secreted when the child shows or does the stimming behaviors. We should try to avoid those kind of tactile inputs which your child feel is stressful for him. Dear parents, remember one thing, that the stimming behavior will come and go whenever depending upon the situation your child is in. As your child grows, these stimming behavior will get better, means they will get reduced. So you have to understand and be patient while handling or managing these kind of stimming behaviors in your child with autism. Thank you so much.